Hello, everybody.
Hi, guys.
It's Realmomly coming at ya.
Yeah. Long time no chat, I suppose. We've been a little busy, so we had
Yeah,
to take a little time off.
we took a mental break last week.
Yeah.
We needed it. We both are in school. Working started back. Things started opening up. So, it was just a stressful fucking week. Things are crazy in the world right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So we just needed a little bit of a break.
Yep. We hope
And
everyone is... What?
I forget what I was going to say.
I was going to say we hope everyone is staying healthy and safe and being aware of how we are affecting other people and just, loving people and staying true to ourselves and peaceful things, everybody.
Yeah, I hope that, everyone is just, it's a crazy world out there right now, and everyone has lots to say about everything. So I just, kindness, I think, is the number one thing to remember. And,
Exactly. Kindness no matter what.
Yeah. So that's just all I have to say about it. And I saw that they're closing down over there by your house for the protest on Saturday.
Yeah, I heard there's one on Barton.
Yeah,
US
it
one.
goes it goes all the way to 520. Closed it down. It goes from Barton to 520 on Fisk, I think.
Oh, it is on Fisk. I did hear that.
So, I don't know if they've closed. I think they closed it down after your street, but they're telling people that you can't drive through there or whatever. So just so you know, Saturday.
Oh, I didn't know that. So my street's going to be blocked off.
Yeah.
To Fisk.
I mean, you can probably get out another way, maybe. I don't know where it starts. I'm not sure.
That'll be interesting.
Because it's Barton after your street. Barton is after, right?
I get Barton and Barnes confused. No, Barton is, if you are going, is north of my house.
Okay.
Barnes is south.
So maybe your street won't be closed. Yeah.
Wow, that's going to be really cool. Honestly, I was driving by that way on the way home and just seeing everybody outside. That'll be a cool protest. That's what it's called, a protest?
It's a protest. It's supposed to be like a peaceful.
Okay, that's what I was just gonna ask. Yeah. That'll be cool though. To see.
Yeah, I thought about participating, but we have our kids, so it's not something I want to take.
That's what I was just thinking. I don't want to take Cole. That's why I was thinking if I could just walk up, because we're right at Fisk. So if which now everyone knows where I live, but but we could just walk up to the street since Barnes is a little bit north of us, and we could maybe just see what's going on and participate from over here.
Yeah. That'd be cool, I know a lot of people are planning on going, which is pretty cool. But
do you know what time it starts?
At 3. They're closing the street down at 2.
Okay. Wow, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully it goes well, and I hope that it's peaceful, and everyone's like already starting to complain about it being like not peaceful and people rioting and
over looting, that it's going to be over here.
Yeah. So I mean, there's no reason to do any of that. So I hope it's just like a peaceful. I hope that the protesters are peaceful, and I hope that the police are peaceful, and it's just a peaceful thing.
I hope it's peaceful too, just for the neighborhood and like the children. I know a lot of kids live in this, unlike my neighborhood and in the area. So that would be my main thing is, at least respect the people's homes.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So we don't feel like we're worried about our kids in that way.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. I'm curious.
That's pretty exciting, though.
Yeah. So lots of people participating in things like this all around the world.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. That like it's a worldwide thing.
Mhm.
That's really cool.
So pretty awesome. All right, so we're going to talk about our postpartum journeys today.
Because postpartum, I feel like postpartum for some people, I've heard stories where they're like, where it's like, yeah, I didn't really feel any different. Like I had a great bond with my baby, and it was just fucking peachy. And I'm like, what? Like it went great. You didn't feel any different at all. I'm like, holy fuck. That's definitely not how I felt. It was
well, everyone goes through it differently.
Yeah.
But I know we all like to hear all the different stories, like birth stories and postpartum journeys, and like we all want to all moms or moms to be's or people reading it, like that part is interesting. Hearing everything's different, happens in a different way. So we figured we would just discuss what we went through and have you guys enjoy our continuing postpartum journey with us, because I feel like it's never ending.
Exactly. Like I said earlier, once postpartum, always postpartum.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I'll start.
Okay.
So I had little Cole, man. It was fucking great. I feel like I was on a high.
So little.
He was so little. 6 pounds,
I couldn't believe
2
how
ounces.
little he was.
I know, me neither. Oh, I miss that. But I feel like I was on a high. Like once I had him, it was just like, okay, everything's fucking great. Like I remember Jake went to a gig the next day, and normally I would have been like, are you fucking kidding me? And no, it wasn't the next day. It was like the day after that. But still, I would have freaked the fuck out. I was still in the hospital. I would have flipped my shit, but I was on such a high. I just had my beautiful baby boy that I was just like, you know what? Go to your gig. I
know. I was surprised. I even told Sherrod, I was like, so Jake went to a gig, and I thought that was weird that Charlie was like
fine with it. I was totally fine with it.
Chill with it. Like,
it was super weird.
At a gig.
I think honestly,
I was like, you cannot leave the hospital.
Next time things will be different. Jake will be taking a week off of work, a whole week, an entire week.
Yeah.
But no, I think Jake, honestly, like I think he was kind of like, I remember him being like, we have a kid now, I need to make money. And I think that like a switch, just like he kind of like freaked out. And like work is like his go-to when he freaks out. So I like, now that I look back on it, that's what I think happened. It was like, holy fuck, I just had a kid. I need to go to my safe place, and like music is his safe place. So I think that was like kind of like a good thing for him. And I got to be with Cole. And honestly, that day, you came that day. Because that's why I was okay with it, because you were going to come and see me in the hospital. And I think Cole was gone. They took Cole for like tests and stuff. And you barely saw him for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because they came and took him.
I saw him. Yeah. Because he was there when I got there, and then they came like right after I got there and took him for tests or whatever they needed to do.
He was gone for a while, I felt like. So.
Yeah.
But honestly, the first few days after, you're just fucking bleeding everywhere. And you're waddling, and it's just so fucking weird. And you're just like, no one tells you what to do. And so I remember like the first, like I was so excited to leave the hospital and be in my own bed, which now I look back and I'm like, why didn't I leave the day after having Cole and just go home? Because you can check out of the hospital. It's a very expensive hotel. I wish I realized that earlier, because I would have gone the fuck
I didn't
home.
know that you could just leave if you wanted to.
You can leave. You have to sign a waiver, but you can fucking leave.
Dang. I can remember that from my next baby.
right?
Because I hate that part. That's like the
That's the
worst
worst
part.
part.
As
You
soon
don't
as I get
sleep.
home,
You don't
yeah.
sleep anyways, and they're waking you up when you're sleeping and like you finally have fallen asleep. And it's not like, at least for me, I feel like they didn't help me at all with my breastfeeding. I feel like when I asked for help, this woman just like came in there and like fucking shook me around and moved my arm and was just like there. I'm like, this is the most uncomfortable position ever. Like, I don't know what you just put me in, but that's not what I'm going to do. So I didn't feel like I got any help, but once being home was just super great. But yeah, your emotions are like on a roller coaster. You're so happy and then you just cry. But I remember I was freaking the fuck out because I thought I was going to like get Cole sick. I remember, I was constantly looking up online like how germs were passed from like baby to mother and like if breast milk would help with that, or if like I was going to get my baby sick. I remember I have really bad allergies all the fucking time. So my nose, like I'll start getting like I'll have really bad allergies one day and not know if it's a cold or allergies, and I'll be like looking up online, is my baby going to get a cold, or like looking at everything. So I was kind of like high anxiety. Very, very high anxiety. Oh, is that a baby?
Yeah, she's trying to open the slider door. I don't know
Oh,
where her
Okie.
father is.
Short intermission.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Oh, she wants her mama.
Now can escape from her room, even with the child protector thingies on the doorknobs. So she kind of comes and goes as she pleases.
There you go. Oh, good Lord. Once they find out
Yeah.
how to open your door, you can never go back.
Nope.
You're
So,
just
and it's only her
fucked.
door. I don't understand it, but whatever.
That's funny. Okie baby.
Yeah. Okay, so where were we on your journey?
High anxiety.
Coming home, I think, is where you were in your
Yeah,
anxiety.
coming home. I honestly think though, like the first few weeks I thought went pretty great besides the anxiety. I think I felt pretty good. I mean, it was hard, but like you just did it. I feel like I don't even remember because I was just so like your schedule is just so messed up. You're like sleeping. It's always dark. You're always in bed. You're always like breastfeeding, or it was just like a big blur. And I honestly feel like that time just kind of flew by. Like Jake will tell you like that was like the newborn stage was probably the hardest for him, and I think for me it was the easiest.
Yeah.
At least like with Cole.
Maybe it
Like
was the connection.
maybe
He
it
didn't
was.
have like that connection at the newborn stage like you had with them. I think it's really hard for the dads during that time because literally the baby is attached to your boob 24/7, and there's really
Yes.
like the dad doesn't have that opportunity to feed the baby himself, or like, like the baby really just wants mommy. So it's kind of hard for the bonding to happen between a newborn and the dad. So I
That's
get that
super
part.
true. They kind of feel invisible because they're just
Yeah.
like working, or if they're at home, they're just like helping you around the house and like doing things for you and the baby, So
Yeah.
it's hard. It's a hard transition for everybody. But I just remember being like so infatuated with Cole. Honestly, I think the first 6 weeks were pretty decent. I mean, I'm really good at like, I'm a big homebody. I like staying at home. So I like, it was like comforting for me for a little bit, to like
Yeah.
get away from the world, be with my baby, kind of just like have that closed off. So I think it was nice also, having your support system and everything like that, and the people that you're going, that you can go to, like you and my other girlfriend, you guys, having you guys and also you guys having babies. I think that helped me a lot because just going over to your house and like hanging out like with the babies and everything, that was really a saving
Yeah.
grace, you know, having your girlfriends there. But yeah, mine was really high anxiety. Honestly, when everything kind of changed for me was, I got at my 6 week, you go to your checkup or whatever, and they say everything's fine. My sex drive was on point. It was super good. And then I got, an IUD, Mirena, and that's when I like started going fucking crazy. I had serious like honestly, like the way I like think about how my emotions were then, it was like bipolar. Like one minute I'd be like, I'd be totally fine, and the next I'd be fucking bawling or screaming, or like Cole started rejecting my boob after, and it was a really hard time. I felt really guilty for not. And it's still, that's something that's super hard for me, is I feel guilty, or I feel like I could have done more to stick with breastfeeding. I also know that my anxiety was so fucking high and I was so depressed that it was probably a good thing for me to not have to breastfeed him, because I just couldn't connect there yet. I needed I guess I needed a break. I don't fucking know. I still don't know, but I feel guilty about not being able to breastfeed him for as long as I wanted to. I had expectations, I guess.
Sometimes your body doesn't, has a different plan for you.
Yes, and my body definitely did. And pumping, that shit does not help. It's completely, that shit does not do anything. I would pump and get fucking ounce, and then, when Cole would latch or whatever, it'd be like 8 ounces, or just flow and flow and flow. It's completely different. Pumping, I tried to pump like exclusively for like a month. Fuck that shit. It didn't fucking work for me. Didn't work at all. But no, I had really bad emotional issues, and it was all my hormones. I think I had Mirena in. I gave it the full, what did they say? They say to give it 6 months to fully
Yeah, to kind of like level out.
So I waited the full 6 months. And so I think I got it removed at 8 months, because I wasn't feeling any different. I felt insane. I remember talking to Jake about it for a while, because I obviously got the IUD so we wouldn't get pregnant. Again, so we had to talk about, different ways to try and to prevent pregnancy. So, but yeah, I remember getting it out, and like a few hours later, just feeling like relief, whether it was because the IUD was out and it wasn't giving off the hormones, and my body wasn't like reacting to it, and it was like leveling out a little bit. But dude, that was like the best fucking day ever. I feel like I noticed a difference in my attitude, and everything. I honestly, the first, so like 8 months into it, before I got the IUD out, was probably the lowest I've ever felt. Like getting to the point where you're like, and I feel really bad saying this, but like you're getting to the point where you're like, okay, Jake and Cole will be fine without me. Like they'll be fine. Like they don't need me. Like I'm insane. Like they'll be fine without me. Like I can run away, or like I was honestly at the point where I was like thinking like I'd be better off dead. Like it's good. Like they'll be fine. And once I started thinking like that, that's when I was like, I have to get help, because I never ever want to fucking do that.
Right.
So that's when I started seeing a reflexologist, Dr. Goolsby. I got the IUD taken out. I started seeing Dr. Goolsby, and he's a He's a reflexologist, but he does something else. It's like reflex analysis. That's what it's called. And it's this whole not elaborate, but it's so fucking crazy how it works. But pretty much my hormones were working at a 0 or a 1 out of 10. And so it was like, I remember going in there and just I was not happy. I was fucking strung out, like losing my mind. And then 6 months down the road, like working through all of like taking all the hormonal supplements and like changing my diet up and like really, you know, working on like natural things for my anxiety. I take like a green supplement that's from Detox Energy Greens. And I take the one for anxiety. It's like a tablespoon of greens, and I put it in a shot of water and just chug it back. But you can put it in anything. That shit helps me so much with my anxiety. But I remember going in after like 6 months of being on all the supplements, and his nurse was like, you look like a new person. She was like, it looks like you're finally getting yourself back into your, like feeling like yourself again. And that was one thing with Cole, is like I did not feel like myself at all. I felt like like a completely different person. I didn't know how I fit. I didn't want to lose my old self while also finding my new self. It was like a really weird perspective. I wanted to be my old self still, but I wanted to be better than that and do better for my son and become a different person and grow. But I also didn't want to like leave the past behind, you know. So it's been a really hard transition for me to find like my place, and because I don't want to be like, I love my son and I love taking care of him, but I don't want to be a caretaker forever. Like I don't want I don't want my life to just be taking care of Cole.
Right.
I want more for myself. And I think I needed that. You know, plants really saved me when I was really bad in postpartum depression and anxiety. Taking care of my plants and watching them grow, and like that, it like gave me hope. It was really awesome how, you know, gardening and everything like that really helps me out. But
yeah,
dude, it's just like postpartum is hard. And, you know, there still are days where you're like, my hormones are fucking crazy. But now I've started, you know, really tracking my fertility and my menstrual cycle and my entire cycle. I track it, and I track it with the moon. And now I know, I mean, I always start my menstrual cycle on the full moon, and I know like last week I was having fucking a mental breakdown, and I look at the calendar and I'm like, no wonder I'm going to be starting my period soon, you know? So it's like, at first you feel like everything's fucking ending, and you're like, wait, no, this is happening for a reason. My hormones are a little off level because my body is going through it's starting revving up for this shit. So like understanding what is going on in my body really like helps me understand it better, so I'm not as hard on myself.
Yeah.
So it's been really nice. And, you know, Cole's getting older, and he's so fucking awesome, and he makes me want to be a better mom. So, you know, getting through those first few months, for me, it was really, 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 really hard. But I also made me a better person and a stronger mom, I think. And it made me kind of help me figure out, you know, what I want, and, you know, transform me into a mother and Charlie, like figuring out who I am beyond a mom, but also, you know, loving every minute of being a mom.
Yeah.
So it's just a hard transition overall.
Yeah, I don't, I know that like everyone posts like everyone wants to seem perfect on social media or whatever, and I always see these posts about, what reality is not really like, as far as how they want people to see how they're doing, especially being a new mom, because it's a whole new ball game. Basically, it's you're becoming a different person. You're everything's changed. Your whole body has changed. Nothing
Yeah.
is the same.
And it's hard to get, used to your body, where it's like, even, I don't know if it's the same for other people, but even sex feels differently to me. And,
Yeah.
having new ways of, finding new ways of what feels good, because what used to feel good now feels like nothing. And you're like, what the fuck? Or even, lubrication, because you dry up a little faster. And it's like those little things where you're like, what the fuck is going on? And
Mm-hmm.
you're like, my body's just different now. And I don't, you're still having the hormone imbalances and all that kind of stuff. It affects that, and I remember a lot people, I mean, I lost a lot of weight when I started getting really depressed and everything. After having Cole, I went down to like 85 pounds, and everyone would be like, oh my gosh, you lost your baby weight so fast. And I literally would want to punch them in the face, because I'm like, this is so unhealthy. Like, this is not
Yeah.
good. Like, that's not a good thing that I lost it that fast. Like, going
Yeah.
from 120 pounds to 85, like, yeah, I might be really, really skinny, but I'm also bony and I can't fit in anything, and I'm like super unhealthy. It's not
Yeah.
the best thing in the world that I lost the weight so fast. I wish I would have kept it. So,
Right.
like, people's
Yeah.
perspectives, are different than what may be going on for you.
Yeah. I agree. That's just, but I feel like, and I think part of that is very sad that our world thinks that you need to look, in order for you to look good, you need to be skinny. Because I thought, like, you looked your best at that 120 pounds,
Me too. And I felt my best.
So I just, like, that part, it just blows my mind that it's still, like, in order for you to look good, you have to be skinny, that our world is still like that, because that's not a healthy thing. It's not healthy.
No, exactly. And
I was really skinny back before I had Oakland.
you
I had lost a
were.
ton of weight because I went through depression too. And, um, everyone was telling me, like, how good I looked and, this and that. But, like, I felt like I was pretty unhealthy. I felt like I was getting sick all the time. I felt like I just was too skinny. It just was too skinny for me. Now I'm too fat. I need to lose some weight, but what can you do?
It's loving yourself no matter what. Loving those imperfections and those butt stretch marks and your boob stretch marks and your nipples pointing
I
in
don't
weird
mind the
ways.
size that I am.
That's good. That's good that you feel comfortable in that.
Yeah, I'm not sitting there, like, hating on myself or like, man, I wish I was skinnier, or, like, judging myself every day before I get in the shower or whatever. I feel like that I'm not fat, but I'm not as skinny as I used to be. But my body also went through carrying 2 babies,
Within a
and
matter of like 18 months.
yeah, so there's a lot of transformation, a lot of change throughout that time. So I'm proud of myself and what my body went through, and that's all. And it shouldn't even be a matter of like your body has to go through something in order for you to be proud of having weight on, because you should love your body no matter what, whether you're skinny, not skinny, whatever. It's just, you should just love yourself no matter what. But for me, that's how I view it, as like, I don't need to be skinny like I was before. Like, it's, if I lose weight, great, but I'm not like obsessing over it.
That's good. That's a good, and that honestly, that I bet that's a great place to be in too. Like feeling that like confidence and that comfort that you don't have to impress anybody else. Like you are going to, you're gonna get dressed up for you, or you love yourself,
Yeah.
and that's really nice.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's super important. So, anyway, I didn't mean to, cut you off or
Oh no,
whatever.
I think I was done. I really honestly don't like. I remember feeling super lonely in postpartum where you're kind of like, you want to reach out, but also you don't want to reach out because you don't know if you can reach out. Um, and for me, it was super hard because I always wanted to call my mom and I couldn't call my mom. And then it was like, no one else is going to know what to say like my mom would.
Right.
So it was just like a weird, like learning how to be on my own. That was like the first time where I was like, dude, at the end of the day, it's me, Cole, and Jake.
Yeah.
That's my main focus besides myself, obviously. Like those two are it. They're my
Mhm.
family. And at the end of the day, when you get to a certain point, you kind of have to put like yourself and your family first. And, if you have to put not other people to the side, but like, you start to realize like, oh, like going to the stores or like going to hang out with my friends or going to hang out with even my family. Like, no, I need to be at home with Jake and Cole, like on certain times. And I
Yeah.
was never really, I'm super about I would see my family, my dad and my brothers every week, twice a week. And now
Yeah, I know you guys have always been close.
and now I'm kind of, things have changed where it's like, I talk to my dad weekly and I talk to them weekly, but I don't see them weekly, unless.
Well, you get busy, priorities change, you have
Exactly,
other
that's
things
what I'm
happening.
saying. Things change, and you're
Yeah.
like, my priority now is me, Cole, and Jake, and trying to get myself better for them, and especially Cole, and work on myself. And it's like, holy fuck, now it's like time to get shit in gear. Like, why didn't I do this so long ago? It could have been done by now.
Yeah.
Could have been done. What was I doing? Probably if I didn't have Cole, I still would be doing like the same old shit I was doing.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure we'd both be doing that.
But that blows my mind. Like literally, if I did not have Cole, I would not be in school right now. I would still just be hanging out.
Working and partying.
Yes, literally be making my money to get by, which I am making money to get by now, but in a different way. Back then, not even back then. A few years ago, I was making money so I could go out, drink beer, smoke weed, sleep.
Yep.
That was it.
Yep.
Damn, no responsibilities. But I'm very proud of myself, and working towards shit makes you feel good about yourself. And
Yeah, exactly.
so I like the track I'm on, and I like where I'm at now a lot.
That's good.
It's hard. It's fucking hard. And there's not a lot of downtime, but
In a few years, it'll just be a busy, hectic couple years, and then
it'll be done and I'll be working and it'll be good. It'll be good.
yeah. So, that's what gets me through it. I'm like, okay, this is only temporary. I have to bust my ass
Yeah.
for a short amount of time, and then, it'll get better.
It'll all be worth it in the end.
Yeah. So that's just what gets me through this crazy time of school and work and kids. And school is hard. It's hard when I think healthcare in general is hard.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much information you have to know, and
there's so much information changing and evolving, and
yeah, so
there's
I just
always
think that,
continuing educations and
yep. So, but anyway, so my postpartum journey was, I shouldn't say was, because it's still happening, but it was a little different between my two pregnancies. So I was, healthy and um, excited to have Oakland, and like my body was like, I worked through my entire pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
I felt strong. I felt like, I don't know. It was just like a happy, healthy pregnancy, I think,
Yeah.
with Oakland. And then I had Oakland, and um, I think, like I had mentioned before, I wasn't like prepared with how um the healing process was going to be.
Yeah.
So, I had Oakland, and then it's immediately, you're basically on your own. Yeah, the nurses are there occasionally, to help you get up and go to the bathroom, but other than that, they show you what to do like once or twice, and then you're
They're
basically on your
out.
own.
Right.
It's very overwhelming when you don't know what to do. You're just kind of like, okay, well, I'm bleeding, I hurt, I can barely sit. I don't even want to poop or think about pooping
Yeah.
because, you don't know the extent of everything down there. I think my thing was I had to get stitches, so um I thought that if I pooped it was gonna like rip them out or something, I
Yeah.
was so afraid. I just remember that. I was so afraid. Um but it was just like, I hated being in the hospital, hated it. It was the worst. I got zero sleep in the hospital.
None.
Um, Zero sleep because I was so, one, I was hurting. They give you ibuprofen, okay? You need something a little stronger than that. Um, you're hurting, you're uncomfortable. You have to feed your baby every 2 or 3 hours. You are looking over constantly, like making sure your baby's okay. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're constantly being interrupted, people in and out. You're just not. So that does not help your healing process
No.
at all. I was stressed to the max by the time we were able to get out of the hospital. And we had people here, which, family members and whatever. So that was also very stressful. But I remember coming home and feeling really relieved. But that first day coming home, all my emotions flooded in, and I just was crying, and um, I just needed sleep. I hadn't slept for 3 days. You
That's a
know,
long time. Ooh.
4 days really technically, because do you really sleep the night before, you have
Mm-hmm.
something scheduled? Not really. I was scheduled to be induced, so I was like wide awake the whole night
The
before.
right.
Um, so, and you're awake pretty much the whole time during labor, because can you really sleep through that? No. So, you're pretty much just awake for however long till you get home. So I had all these emotions like flooding in, and I remember coming into my room and like I just needed some sleep. My mom was here, and I just was crying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was in pain. I just didn't know what to expect, and it was just a overload of so much stuff at one time. And once I got home, I finally was able to get some rest. My new routine started setting in with the baby, and um, started to heal, started to feel a little better. I think I was depressed. And then I got pregnant again. So I never really had that time to bounce back as far as my body, my emotions, everything,
Mm-hmm.
hormones. So I got pregnant again. And I think with my second pregnancy, it wasn't like a joyous, happy time, because
Yeah.
I was trying to take care of a baby and like there was no enjoyment for my second pregnancy. Not only that, but I wasn't working, so I hadn't lost the original baby weight, so I had my second baby weight on top of that, gaining more weight.
Yep.
And I wasn't working or like active because I was home with Oakland,
Mm-hmm.
so I gained even more weight because that's what you do when you're just sitting on the couch or sitting down all day long.
Yeah.
And my body was very uncomfortable. I was sore. My sciatica was horrible. So anyway, I had to do like yoga stretches and go to a chiropractor, and like my body was just bigger than it's ever been, and it was not a good time for me. I was ready from the start for the baby to come. Like it wasn't a joyous time like I enjoyed my first pregnancy. My second time around, I was just over it. I was done. I'm like, get this baby out now.
Yeah.
So second time around, after I had Emberlyn, I knew what to expect. So my healing process was a lot better, a heck of a lot easier. You know, I was like, I hated the hospital part, hated it.
Yeah, that's awful.
That's my least favorite part. But as soon as I got home, I feel so much better. Came home, you know, relaxed. But like you, I ended up getting the IUD at 6 weeks, and my hormones have been pretty crazy. My anxiety's been through the roof. I got such bad anxiety where I was having a hard time, like even driving. So I had to do something about it. So I ended up going on an anti-anxiety medicine, which has helped for me. And I still have my IUD. I don't like it at times because there's like, my body's different. You know, it's just different. There's things that I don't like about it with the IUD, but there's things that I do like, and I am not trying to get pregnant again. So, you know.
Yeah, hell
More
yeah.
pros than cons.
And it's crazy how it works. Like it affected you, but not so badly where it was like you had positives and negatives to the IUD, whereas all as I had, it was negative.
Yeah.
So it affects everyone completely differently as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I just, you know, I'm still on it. But I still have problems with anxiety.
Yeah.
So, you know, I still take my medication. I get depressed every now and again. I went through, I would say about, gosh, when was this? A few weeks ago, I was feeling pretty low. I don't know. I was feeling like kind of how you were talking about how like, you know, oh, the kids would be fine without me, like they would be fine. You know, I just was feeling really, really depressed. So I think every now and again I still get that. I've always had depression though in my life, so it's not something new to me. It's not like I got it because of my postpartum. But the anxiety medicine has for sure helped me. But I have my highs and my lows. You know, it's not such a dramatic high and low, but you know, occasionally I do get parts of like being depressed, and that could be like my hormones and I'm about to get my period or something.
Yeah.
You know, it just could be like a stronger effect from the IUD and like when I'm going to get my period than like a natural hormonal process for when you get without being on birth control. Yeah. So, you know, my journey's been a little different, a little chaotic. The back-to-back pregnancies, man, the second one was just like depressing for me. I was feeling huge and fat, and my body was hurting, and I was uncomfortable. It was just not a glowing time for me. So I'm hoping that like if we have another kid, the next pregnancy will be that glowing time where I actually get to enjoy it, because, you know, I just didn't enjoy it my second time around. And I heard the doctors always say like, your second pregnancy is worse, but your second labor is better.
Easier. Do you think that was true with you?
Pretty much the same, I feel like. As far as, I mean, Emmy came a little faster than Oki did, but than that, it was pretty much equal. Besides, like, um, the pressure and the feeling with the epidural, because it was different for each one. So, like, I liked the second time around where I could actually be like, okay, she's ready. I feel her. Come check me, and then I'm ready to push. Like, I really liked the fact that I was able to make the decision on when my body was ready to push. And I could feel it.
Yeah, that's one reason why next time I really would like to have like a stay-at-home birth or like at a birthing center, so I don't really have that option of an epidural. Because I feel like being in control, and being able to read your own body would help you in situations like that as well. Like, you can feel it. So like some doctors tell you to push, and they don't know when you need. They're looking at a screen of contractions, but you being able to feel it and tell them what you're feeling obviously helps a lot. Reading your own body.
Yeah, that was my favorite part about my second labor was being in a little bit more control and being like, okay, it's time, I need to push, and knowing like what my body, like the natural process of it all. But as far as my postpartum journey, I'm still going through it. Emmy's, what is she? 14 months now. So I still have my moments, but also I hadn't been on birth control for so long beforehand. And I really, like, my body was in its natural routine. And I was used to that. So I just have to adjust. And like you said, your body changes, my body changes. I noticed, that, like, and I don't know if this has to do with like tearing and getting stitches, but like different G spots from before, I feel like, are like in a different location, or different spots feel better than they ever did before.
That's a fucking 100% for me. And we ripped in two different fucking directions. So no, I really hope, please, you other people who have had babies, please tell us if we're not insane, because I swear everything feels different for me. I ripped right next to my clitoral area.
Yeah.
So like, penetration hurts really bad because of the way I ripped, and I ripped previously again right where I ripped because it's fucking healed all fucked up. So like, penetration is like a no-go right now. So we're having to find other ways, and it's just fucking crazy how literally you're like, that always used to feel good. Like, what the fuck, you're doing it wrong or something. And like, it's real, like, no, it really just doesn't feel good.
No, I mean, I agree. I notice things that I'm like, that positions or spots or whatever feel better or feel good in general, that was like, what the heck?
I've never liked this before. And things that I really did like I'm hating.
Yeah, so I totally agree. And I think, I don't know if this is true, and I kind of want to do some research. Also, okay, good. I was hoping I wasn't in.
You were for a second.
Oh, okay. But anyway, so I want to do some research because I want to find out if sex feels better for a woman after she's had a baby. Because I feel like, yes, sex like felt great beforehand, but I feel like it's like a whole other level.
You think so? I've been having issues on that, because for me, when I was like 6 weeks postpartum, I had like a very high sex drive, and it felt great. It was, everything was fine. And I mean, pregnant sex is even better. I thought that was like the bomb. Like, that first few, months of being pregnant, your hormones are insane and everything's so sensitive. I thought that was like my shit. But I'm having issues. I don't know if it's because of where I ripped, but for me, like, it's been hard for me to find new pleasurable spots.
Things.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of it too is you have to explore your own body too to figure it out because it's all
hell
new.
yeah. Hell yeah.
So whatever you had before wasn't going to be the same. But I really am interested in that. I'm interested in if sex changes for women after they've had a baby.
I bet you that they do. I've also heard that women, that once you're in your 30s for women, that's like prime sexual time. I hear.
Interesting.
My grandmother always told me as you get older, it gets better.
Yeah.
That also might even be because we know our bodies more. We're more like, at least for me, I know I'm able to speak up more instead of being like, yeah, that feels great when it really doesn't feel good, or just not say anything. Like now I'm like, nope, let's try something new. Like, nope, let's do this. Or
yeah, I'm
we're
the
more,
same way.
have
I
my
was
voice
just like,
more.
okay, yeah, all right,
Right?
cool.
Why the
It feels
fuck did
great.
we do that? I wish I could go back and tell all of them, you sucked at this, you sucked at this, you sucked at this, and I just fucking lied to your ass.
Right? How are they supposed to get better if they don't know?
Exactly. That's why all of them.
But I think about that, like, because I feel like sex-wise, it's different. My body's different. Even with my face, my hormones, like my face is completely different.
That's how I feel. I feel like my face
hair
is different.
Completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like a whole new me, and you have to learn that too, which also makes postpartum a little more difficult.
Right, your skin changes. You're just like you said, I've tried like millions of different shampoos and conditioners since having Cole, and finally just found one that I really, really like. And same with face wash. My skin has never changed so much in 2 years. I like, holy shit, I finally feel like I'm on a good regimen. And then I start working outside and all the sweat and everything. You got to wash your face a million bajillion times.
Yeah, definitely.
It's disgusting. But yeah, everything, you're literally like finding your new normal.
Mhm. So I don't know about those women that don't have any sort of postpartum issues. I feel like everyone has something, but everyone's also different.
Yeah.
So
I did talk to my boss. I was talking to her because she has children as well, and we were kind of talking about like our postpartum a little bit. And I told her that I had postpartum depression, and it was so funny because her face was just like immediately just kind of went like, oh, I didn't go through that. And it was immediately like, okay, conversation over. Like, I went back outside, she went in the kitchen, and I'm like, yep, okay, we're done.
I got awkward.
It was so funny. I'm like, well, that was interesting. That was funny.
Well, people that don't go through it, they don't know how you feel.
Right, and you could tell that she didn't understand.
There are women out there that don't go through it and don't have that big hormone change or whatever, like they just go back to normal, like nothing happened. So I know that happens because I've heard stories. It just didn't happen to me, unfortunately. And maybe it would have happened a little bit after Oakland if I didn't get pregnant right away, after like the getting through the healing process, because that was a rough one for me. But I never will know because I immediately got pregnant again.
That's true.
So.
Well, and then also for us, before we got pregnant, we both went through some pretty serious stuff before getting pregnant. We had some things in our life that happened that kind of like stunned us. So, if that's the right word to use, stunned. But we were going through some shit.
You went through depression beforehand.
Yeah.
So that doesn't help.
Yeah. So we were both in like weird situations before we got pregnant. We were both like too skinny and kind of, unhealthy, not emotionally where we wanted to be in like a good place. I think for me, Cole fucking like saved me because I think I'd be on a total different wrong path.
Yeah, I think the same thing too. I'm like, man, I was really partying. I think that like getting pregnant was the best thing that ever happened because it pulled me out of that. It's time to grow up. Man, I'm gonna be 28 years old. Like,
We're going to be
you know,
30 soon.
I know. Like, come on. It's time to grow up, for life to happen. And, I couldn't be doing what I was doing. Yeah, it was fun. And I'm glad I was able to live that life for a little bit because I feel like it's important to experience it.
Yeah. And not
But,
saying either that, like, we don't go out. Well, we haven't been out in a while because of everything going on. But that doesn't mean that we still can't go out and have a good time as well.
right, we just weren't doing it. We just aren't doing it every single night like we were before.
Yeah. And when we do it, we don't go out until 4 a.m. and then wake up at 4 in the afternoon the next day. We try and keep it civil, and then we wake up at 7 a.m. with a hangover. So that's not pleasurable either. So it's pretty much just like you're just going for it. Get a babysitter, hopefully.
Yeah. So, I mean, we still like to have fun. It just isn't. That was like a whole other level of fun. That was borderline alcoholic.
I was thinking about that. I think definitely for me it was like the binge alcohol, like binge. That's what it is when you don't like. No, I mean I pretty much drank a lot. I was trying to say maybe just after work, but like no, I drank like if I had a day off, like drinking, like me and my family. Yeah, right. Me and my brother, after my mom died, we would buy bottles of vodka, and not saying we'd get like super wasted, but we would have fun and hang out and kind of drown our sorrows a little bit.
Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely a good thing, having the babies. And for us, that's what happened for us. But for a lot of people, it's not what happens. So
yeah. I'm really grateful for how we've, where we are in our lives and what we're doing. And, look at us 2 years later. Going through all the hard shit and coming out on the other side. It's honestly like it's a really nice feeling. I mean, always, you're always going to go through shit. Life's always going to be there. But, like, just everything that we've already gone through, like, look at where we are. Like, look at, like, there's so much more to come. Like, we say, like, fuck, we're going to be 30. But at the same time, we're only almost 30. Like, 30. We'll still have another, like, 50 years. And I don't know if I want that long. That's a long time.
I know people live to like their hundreds in my family on my dad's side.
Oh, no. Cover me with the pillow.
Yeah.
Don't let me get all like, if I'm like obviously alert and still kicking, but no, if I'm just like in a nursing home or vegged out, kill me.
Yeah. What's the point?
Right? Put my ass in the ground. Not in the ground. I want to be cremated and made into a tree.
Yeah, I think I want to be cremated too.
I definitely do. You can get all these cool little stones and stuff done now. I hope somebody does something cool with me.
Better create a will.
I'm going to. You have to do this exactly.
Yes. Oh, man. Well, that's our postpartum journey, guys.
Yeah. It was a good time. Postpartum journey is different for everybody, like we've said lots of times now, and I don't know why I just repeated it, but
and I was do like, if anybody wants to come on and share their story, then don't hesitate to message us.
Heck yeah.
If ever you guys want to like participate, or you have a story, or it's different than ours, or you want people to know, or whatever, don't hesitate to hit us up and ask, because we'll have people on. And
exactly, I was just about to say it. We want to do that.
Story.
Yeah. Like a girls' wine night where you're kind of like, we can hang out, drink some wine, talk some mom talk.
Yeah, no pressure.
Right? It'll be a fun time. Ask some questions. I know one person. I have one person in mind right now that has actually asked if she can come on, so we need to set that up. So
yeah,
in the next few weeks we'll get some stuff set up.
Yeah. So you guys just let us know, or if you want to come on and talk about, anything, whatever, just shoot us a message and we'll work something out.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. This is Realmomly. Thanks for tuning in.
All right. See you next time.